Hey everybody, it is Crystal from the Fearless Travel Guide, and today we're going to be talking all about cruising with disabilities. We're going to talk about cruise lines that are most well equipped to handle guests with disabilities and make sure that they are having the best cruise experience possible, as well as giving you all the resources that you need to make sure that you are able to have a really enjoyable experience. We're going to be covering things like physical disabilities as well as diabetes and traveling with autism. So if this applies to you or someone that you know, then stay tuned. If you are liking videos like this to help you prepare for your travel, for your cruises and all that kind of stuff, please let us know in the comments and give this video a like. If we're getting some feedback from you on what you like or dislike, then we're able to create better content for you in the future. So with that, all that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Now, I have to say, in the research that I've done for this particular video, I am really blown away by Royal Caribbean and how accommodating they are to so many guests. Not to say that other cruise lines aren't doing a great job, but I think Royal Caribbean really stands out as far as going that extra mile to make sure that all guests have an experience that is where everybody is included. So I will link an article down below from Cruise Critic that was fantastic in going through all of the different cruise lines, some of the top ships, the best ships to be on for those with disabilities, and you can find some great information there. We're going to go through some things that I think will help on a broad sense, so let's get started. So one of the first tips would be to consider choosing a larger ship. And the reason for this is because they just have more room to be more accommodating. So Symphony of the Seas, for example, has 46 accessible rooms. They have wide doors with roll-in showers. They also can provide a sign language interpretive service for you as long as you let them know 60 days in advance. Another great ship that we found was the Carnival Vista, which has 65 accessible staterooms. When I say the Vista, it's also including the Vista class ships on Carnival. So all fleet mates would be in that category as well. And my biggest recommendation would be to contact the special needs department of your cruise line at least 60 days in advance, so that way you are prepared, you know what to expect, and you know what sort of accommodations are available to you, because ultimately they want to make sure that you're having an amazing vacation. So don't feel nervous to ask anyone. I know that was me for a little while. I didn't want to be a pain, and I quickly got over that because I realized that I'm paying money just like everybody else and everyone deserves to have an enjoyable vacation. So make sure you find those numbers. We'll put some of the contact information to the biggest cruise lines down in the description, so hopefully that can help you too. Okay, so moving on to dietary restrictions, we wanted to make sure that if you were diabetic, you had a gluten intolerance, you're vegetarian, whatever your dietary needs are, maybe you have sensory processing disorder or your child does, we wanted to make sure that you knew that you can actually find most menus ahead of time before you even cruise. We did a video, I'll link it in the description and in the iCard above, so about all the Carnival Cruise Line menus, and you can easily access these on Carnival's websites. Most cruise lines have them available. If not, you can do a really quick Google search and at least have a vague idea of what to expect on the cruise line. Now, the other thing would be to let your server know at your table that you do have dietary restrictions. This is kind of where Royal Caribbean won me over as far as accommodating guests with dietary restrictions. Now, every cruise line will accommodate you as much as they possibly can. Carnival is also really great about this. You guys know I was craving those pizzas from Carnival. You can request gluten-free pizza dough and gluten-free buns, bread from the deli, whatever you need. just don't be afraid to ask. Don't think that what is available right in front of you is all that the cruise line has to offer. That is a huge misconception. And also, the chef is very willing to make sure that you are accommodated during your meals. So make sure you let your waitstaff know the first night of your cruising that you do have dietary restrictions, and they will do everything they possibly can, whether it is low sugar, low calorie, low carb, like I said, gluten-free, whatever you need, they will do their best to accommodate you. Going right along with this, we have a child who has sensory processing disorder, and I was very worried that he wasn't going to have a lot of options as far as food goes on the cruise. Well, when I contacted Carnival and Disney Cruise Lines and asked if we can bring some prepackaged snacks for them, they were extremely accommodating. They were more than happy to, approve, I guess, us bringing our own snacks to keep in our stateroom. So don't worry about that. As long as it is prepackaged, just have an open line of communication. I think that's key. Okay, so if someone in your party is a diabetic, what I would recommend doing is checking with the pharmacist about storing insulin. You might run into some challenges as far as keeping your insulin as cold as it needs to be. Not all insulin needs to be stored in a refrigerator. Some can be left out for up to 2 weeks, but that all depends on obviously the insulin that you have. So definitely check with your pharmacist. Now, if it does need to be refrigerated, the mini bar fridges in most staterooms do not get cold enough to store insulin. So you have a couple of options. Number one, you can let housekeeping know that you need to store your insulin, and many will bring you a portable medical cooler or medi-cooler, but they are first come first serve, so you are able to bring your own if you feel the need to do that. You can also let housekeeping know that you're going to need a Sharps disposable container if that's the case for you, and they are more than happy to accommodate you with that, and they can get that into your room. Alright, let's talk about cruising with autism. So one piece of advice that I found was to choose a smaller ship if you or someone in your party is cruising with autism. And I honestly have to disagree with this. I believe that the larger ships can be just as accommodating. You can find, in fact, more quiet areas. So I don't think you need to restrict your travel to just a smaller cruise ship. In fact, it's almost the opposite. Royal Caribbean specifically, their Oasis class ships, they make so many accommodations for children and adults with autism, and I don't think that you're going to have to choose a smaller ship to meet the needs of someone with sailing with autism. I don't think that at all. Now, I mentioned in the beginning that Royal Caribbean was kind of winning my heart as far as being so accommodating. So some of the things that they offer for guests sailing with autism are autism-friendly low-volume films and flexible children's policies regarding age groupings and toilet trainings. This is such a big deal for those of us who have children who might be developmentally delayed or don't have the social skills that you feel that they need to be in with the kids in their age group. So way to go, Royal Caribbean. You seriously made my heart so happy. One thing that I would really love to see on cruise ships would be kind of like a Culture City room, and I actually did reach out to Culture City on Twitter to see if they will be represented by any other cruise lines, because I can't seem to find any sensory-friendly rooms where you can go and it's just nice and quiet. Of course, you can go back to your stateroom, that's always an option, but to have some sort of sensory toys that you don't have to lug on vacation with you and a sensory-friendly room, I think that would be so wonderful to have on one of these larger cruise ships especially. So I did reach out to Culture City. If I hear back, I will put it in this video. If not, check the comments of this video. I would love to see that. If you're not familiar with Culture City, definitely check them out. They are really helping a lot of Not so sensory friendly things like wrestling matches become sensory friendly, and it is a phenomenal organization. Like I said, I would love to see them represented on a cruise ship. Fingers crossed that that comes soon. If anyone's going to do it, I have a feeling it's going to be Royal Caribbean, because man, they are just up in their game. Now, another thing you might want to consider is something called Autism on the Seas. So I have, this is their website here, and you can see they offer group cruising for those who have children or adults with autism. And so it's a group cruise, and you get special accommodations with you. There's going to be someone in your party who knows all about what your specific needs are for you and your family, and it's a really great thing. I was so excited to see this, and not to mention, you get to meet people who you can relate to and who know everything that goes into being a family that is autism friendly. I know for me, whenever I meet another mom friend who just gets the struggles, the triumphs, and everything that goes along with sensory processing disorder, in my case, it really, you have that just intimate connection with that person. So I can only imagine that Autism on the Seas would just be that times 100. So definitely check out their website. Again, I will link this below, and so you can easily find it. And my last tip, if you or your loved one is autistic, would be to ask the staff when the quiet times on the ship are. They'll be happy to tell you. They know. And so you can kind of plan your day accordingly. So plan out your breakfast. First of all, you can have breakfast delivered to your room, but if you can ask them when the crowd kind of dies down, then you might be able to plan your trip or plan your schedule around that. Don't forget to choose your time dining. So if there's a meltdown or anything like that, it's no big deal if you don't make it to your scheduled dining time. That's an option with Carnival Cruise, and we always do that. So that would be my recommendation also. And I just want to close with this. It can be really intimidating to voice your concerns and plan this, and just know you are just as entitled to an amazing vacation as anybody else on the cruise ship, okay? Don't feel like you are being a pain. Don't feel like you are nagging or anything. This is your vacation, and you deserve it. You worked hard just like everybody else. So I don't want you to feel intimidated or like I don't even know, that you don't deserve this vacation, because you most definitely do. And your child doesn't deserve to feel ostracized or like they don't fit in. The more we talk about this, and the more we, prepare ourselves to adapt on vacation, the more we can normalize it, the better. So definitely reach out to the cruise line ahead of time and make sure that everyone in your family is going to be accommodated, because it's your vacation. Let's have a good time, right? So I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please let us know. Give us this thumbs up, and let us know in the comments if you enjoyed this, if you'd like to see more of this. If we did not cover your needs in this particular video, that doesn't mean that we don't want to. Just let us know how we can better serve you and make sure that you can travel fearlessly too. So with that being said, that's all we have for today, and I will see you soon.